It's episode 20 of Life's a Garden. Welcome back to Life's a Garden. Today's guest is a meme god. He is an anime fan. He is a gamer. He's 100% certified nerd. And he's also my brother. So please welcome to the show, Landon Morris.
Well, hello everybody. How's it going?
Suppose the best way to start this off would be happy birthday.
Hey, thank you. Yes, it is my birthday.
Yep.
At the time of recording this. Yes.
It's 20.
Yeah, 21.
Yeah.
21. Yep. It's a big one. Yeah, no, I'm excited. I don't really think I'm going to do a whole lot because of COVID, but like...
Well, we went last night and we did an escape room.
That was fun.
That was fun.
It was more fun than I thought it was going to be, than I anticipated for sure.
I agree. I thought the second we walked in that room, I was like, oh, this is... Like, it didn't seem as cool as I expected it. Because I've seen escape rooms on, like, TV
where there's, like, murders and, like, there's, like, cool stuff like that. There was a medieval one we could have done, but I think it was sold out, and at the other one.
Well, I don't know, the way it was set up, it just looked so basic and stuff. It didn't really look...
Yeah.
But it was clever the way they did everything.
Yeah, and then, so we got in there, and I was expecting, just with the group that we had, that we weren't going to make a lot of progress right off the bat. And literally not even 10 seconds in that room, two of the people found a clue, and it was on the I can't say, but
right.
But no, yeah, it was just right there, and they found it, and I was actually surprised. We got through that a lot faster.
How many people did we have? Like 7, 8?
7.
Yeah. It's
an 8-person group, so we had almost the max.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I thought it was cool how, like, everybody kind of contributed something. It seemed like at least everybody at one point
did something.
Yeah.
They like had their, like, enigma.
Yeah, and there was at least one point in every night where somebody, like, made me go, damn.
Yeah.
Like, that was good. Like, I didn't think of that. So I think it was, like, we needed that many. You thought we'd do better with less people.
I think if it was just me, you... I think we could have gotten that done fast. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm trying to think. I'd want to get, like, the brightest minds that I know.
The whole time we were in there, I was thinking, like, what would somebody like Sherlock Holmes do in this situation? Because I was thinking, like, would they struggle with something like this more than an actual real, like, murder because everything's staged? You know what I mean?
Right, there's not real clues.
There's not, like, they don't have to, like, it's all, like, oh, well, it's very, like...
Riddle.
Yeah.
It's very riddle-oriented.
Yeah.
There was a lot of times we were like, oh, what about the clock? The clock says this.
And you're like, oh, yeah, that makes perfect sense in this, but, like,
right.
Yeah.
So it's just like, you're used to seeing the riddle games. You already kind of know, okay, we gotta solve this riddle, solve that, you know.
Nobody actually died, but, yeah.
It was fun, though.
It was.
And then we played some games and did all that. And then you had a long day today.
Yeah, yep. Me and my little one have the same birthday. And we were expecting 5-6 people to show up. And, well, what would you say there was? Like...
Easily 30 people.
Easily 30, yeah.
Plus a lot of kids, which was always fun.
Which was fun. I mean, I had a good time.
Oh, no, it was good. Like, it just seemed... It was hectic and chaotic.
Yeah.
In a good way, but also in, like, a, you know... This is a small house and there's a lot of people in it.
But also, we watched that fight.
Yes, what'd you think of that?
I'm not a huge, like, MMA person. I usually will only watch the fights with you. I liked it. Like I told you, I felt a lot less angry walking away from this fight than I did the McGregor-Khabib fight.
Well, yeah, but I think you know McGregor more
than I do Gaethje. Yes, that is true. But it wasn't necessarily. I could have, looking at both of these fights from, like, a perspective that I don't know either of them, I would have respected the fight between Gaethje and Khabib more so.
Well, it didn't end in such craziness,
yeah.
too. But, I mean, I thought Gaethje... He definitely didn't perform like I thought he would. But credit that to Khabib for performing extremely well.
That guy's an animal.
He came out and performed exactly how he should.
By the end of the fight, I don't even think there was like any damage on Khabib.
Right.
I don't think I saw, like, there was some leg hits, and Gaethje did get some really solid hits in, but nothing that, yeah.
Yep, and I'll give it to Gaethje for being really, classy in the end.
Mm-hmm.
He said a lot of good things.
Mm-hmm.
He went up to him at the end. Khabib was, obviously visibly emotional after the game or after the fight.
I thought it was crazy that he retired.
That was a big thing. Yeah. So Khabib retired, 29-0. Yeah, I mean, do you think it's really the end?
Mm-hmm.
I kind of do too.
I think it is. I don't think it's like, because like when Conor, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but anytime Conor said that he's going to retire,
He's always come back.
He's always come back, but Conor and Khabib are very different people. Like, I feel like Khabib was just doing it because his dad was like, he even said, he's like, this is my dad's dream. Like, I don't care. I have money now, and like,
yeah,
I can go do whatever I want.
Well, he kind of made an empire in Kazakhstan for the fight game.
Yeah.
So he's kind of, I mean, he could run a camp and still make money doing fighting and stuff.
I don't think he cares about the money. I really don't think he cares.
I don't think he does either, really. But yeah, he's a different kind of creature. I do think when he says he's done, he's done. Unless, something popped up later down the road that he just felt like he couldn't refuse.
Yeah.
He's got family members that fight still, too.
His cousin fought today, didn't he?
No, he was gonna, but I think he got hurt or something. So he got held out. But, in fact, you know what? I bet he was going to fight that. Remember we saw that interview with
that guy that was going to make his debut fight?
I bet that's who he was going to fight.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think what that guy said is he didn't make weight. But I'm not sure. When we were listening, he was like, yeah, I came down here to fight.
No, he made weight.
Did he?
That guy. They were saying how he went through training camp, made weight, and then couldn't fight. Like, he came down and then the fight just didn't happen. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't really know his story, but some other good fights, too, though, like the Whitaker fight.
Whitaker fight, I think that was the best fight of the night. I
agree.
I wish that fight would have gone 5 rounds. I really do.
I haven't looked yet, but I would venture to guess that was probably the performance of the night.
So now, they were in the same division as Conor, or not Conor, as Khabib and Gaethje, or no?
Those are middleweights.
Okay.
So they fight guys like Israel Adesanya, Paulo Costa.
Gotcha.
Those are the top guys in that.
So who do you think is going to go for the belt that's just up in the air now?
It's hard. They could. I mean, they have Poirier and Conor fighting. Apparently, it's not official yet, but that's talked about being coming up in January. They could slap the belt into that title, or into that,
Yeah.
Or they could wait and let it be Gaethje versus Ferguson 2.
I think that is more of like a...
Or they could do, like, Conor versus... It could be Conor versus Poirier and Gaethje versus Ferguson, and the winner of... And whoever, wins out of those fights, those two fight each other for the title.
I think that'd be cool.
That would be cool, because those are clearly the top guys.
Yeah. I think... It's so crazy because, like, every time I see Khabib and every time, like, I watch him go up to fight, I look at what he's up against and I'm like, no way Khabib's going to beat this guy.
He's so small. Well, it's a lightweight.
Like, because he doesn't look like anything special. He doesn't have big muscles. He doesn't have, like a built, like, he's not built, but there's just something about him that's just, like...
He's clearly stronger than... he looks.
Yeah.
He's got that torque.
Yeah, he's ready to kill all the time. So, I mean, yeah, I guess congrats to Khabib. I didn't, like I said, I wasn't rooting for him today just because I like Gaethje, but I can respect his 29-0.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's a big deal. And the fact that he got, he retired on his own terms, and I don't think anybody was expecting it, because... They were talking a lot about, like, his father's dream was for him to go 30-0. Mm-hmm. And I think he just doesn't want to... I mean, without his dad in his corner, I can see why he doesn't want to do it, but...
Yeah, because I can see how it's, like... I mean, I've never, like, fought, per se, but if I had somebody there with me my entire life, like, when, like, the fighting went against me, to not have that person be like, dude, like, you got this, like 30-0, that's you.
Right.
To not have that, but then going up against somebody like Gaethje probably took a lot more out of him than people think.
Yeah, I mean,
because like when you saw Gaethje when he went to his corner, like those guys are animals. Like they don't like to listen to anyone else besides their coach.
mm-hmm.
And like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I'm sure he thought a lot about it. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
something he just decided spur of the moment. So
Yeah.
he definitely thought about it. So, yeah, congrats to Khabib, and he definitely put a legacy in the UFC.
Yeah.
I mean, undefeated, that's very, very rare.
How about that guy that went down in 18 seconds?
Oh, yeah. Which one was that?
I don't even remember his name.
That was one
It
of
was
the
his
first
it was
fights.
his
debut fight.
debut fight on a main card, and he lost in 18 seconds.
Yeah, he went down hard. That was a rough one. But there was a few of those, huh? Like there was another quick one too, wasn't there? The Walt Harris one went 2 rounds.
Mm-hmm. Walt Harris went 2 rounds. The girls one I feel like lasted
That went
forever.
to full. I think that went to full.
I think it went to
distance.
decision, didn't it? I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention.
I think she
to that.
submitted her.
Yep, because she wanted to get her first submission in the what was it, submission capital of the world or something like
I
that.
have no idea. Maybe, yeah. I
Yeah.
can't remember now. I
She
think she
apparent-
submitted her though
Yeah, she apparently thinks she's the best fighter in the end. Or not.
in the flyweights.
Yeah.
No.
No, she said she didn't say in her division. She said in all of MMA.
Okay.
She is one of the most technical
No
fighters.
way.
Do you
I
think,
don't even know who she is. I
I
can
don't
name
either.
5 chick fighters that are better than her. But
You think Khabib should
I
come
mean,
out
that's
of
the
retirement?
confidence you need to have, though. You think what?
I said, you think Khabib should come out of retirement and put that to the test?
Yeah. They'll come back and drag.
I think it is like the mentality that you need to have, but like maybe not, because Khabib doesn't think that way. Khabib comes in and
He thinks, I think all fighters have to believe they're the greatest. He definitely
Yeah.
has that chip on his shoulder where he's confident in himself and what he does. I don't think anything less than that for him, but
yeah.
I don't know. What else? What else is going on? Football tomorrow.
Yeah, who plays tomorrow?
A lot of people. Yeah, we were
Name the
talking about
players.
how your fantasy team sucks.
My fantasy team is the best team in our league.
No.
I have a wonderful team. I have the number 1 quarterback, the number 1 running back.
It's terrific.
We're
It's
gonna do
tremendous.
We're gonna do great. It's gonna be huge. I'm just kidding. You know what? I don't understand.
You don't have a bad team. I'm just kidding.
No, yeah, I know. You don't. You don't.
Even
have
though
to
I beat you, but it's
yeah,
I'm just
whatever.
saying,
I,
yeah.
3 people out. 3 people out. But no, what I was gonna say is kind of going back to like the busy day. You know what I don't understand? Like, so like I watch a lot of YouTube, right?
Mhm.
And every YouTube video I click on, there are unskippable ads. We've all
Oh,
seen those
God.
ads. We've all seen them. Okay? And today I was at my daughter's birthday party, and somebody came up to me, and we were just talking, and they just brought up political stuff. I just,
We're getting drowned in it.
yeah, like it's, yeah. I don't understand.
And then, freaking, what's been irritating me more than the ads actually
Is
all
the
these
mail?
the texts.
Yeah.
I keep getting texts and I keep getting calls. I block them every single time, and then they just use a different burner number.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, leave me alone. I'm ready for the election to be over just so I can stop getting that.
Yeah, I just don't know how like, because like growing up, like I would see him on TV and be like, oh, okay, he has another one of these.
Right.
But like, I don't remember getting mail. I don't remember getting calls. Like, I haven't been.
Well, I think they're just getting more and more aggressive about it. I've never gotten like calls and texts like I have until this year. But it's getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, we just gotta hang on a few more weeks.
Did you hear about, speaking of a few more weeks and the election, did you hear about people that think that after the election's over, no matter who wins, that it's going to be like doomsday?
Yeah, I've heard different.
There's a ton of people
Thoughts.
thinking about, like actively, like, collecting supplies and stuff like that. It's like Y2K.
That happens all the time.
Oh, I know. But
people load up on guns and stuff because they're afraid the guns are going to get taken away. I mean, and it's fair for people to think that in this time where it's like it's already been a crazy year.
Yeah.
And it's like with all the riots and stuff going on, it wouldn't be surprising if Trump won and then everyone just lost their minds and then started rioting like, "Oh my god, no, we can't have 4 more years."
Or even if Biden won, and I think no matter who wins, there will be repercussions. Like, I don't care personally. Like,
we're fucked either way because we're. It's like
I thought we were fucked last year, or not last year.
Basically, it's like, what do you want to kill yourself with? A butter knife or, or a plastic knife? Because either way, it's gonna suck.
Yeah. Like it's like, do you want to have somebody who can't formulate sentence, like talk normally, being your president, or somebody who talks too much being a president? You know what I mean? Like,
these are not the two finest individuals to run this place.
No, but I mean, it usually isn't.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. But we'll see what happens. Whatever. I mean, I think ultimately in the end, nothing's
gonna change.
Everybody thought it was gonna be the end of the world when Trump got elected the first time, and guess what? We made it 4 years. Here we are. Like, people just try and over dramatize everything. And yes, some things change, but not really that much.
Not much. I mean, realistically speaking, the only change that I visually have been affected by when a president has come into office or seen somebody be affected by is when Obama came in.
What do you mean?
With like Obamacare and stuff like that.
Yeah, I got affected by that because I kept getting fucking all my money taken away.
Yeah, that's the only. And I liked Obama.
I did too. I voted for him.
But that's what I mean. Like, there's times when like I can vote for somebody and have such a positive outlook, and then sometimes they'll just kind of fuck you over, and then other times they'll just sit in there and won't do anything for 4 years.
Well, it's like the Obamacare thing. I like the idea of it, but the
money and the cash flow of it.
What's it called? The penalty is what was ridiculous, and that's what screwed me up for so many years. So that was stupid. I was not a fan of that. But I mean, I don't know. In the end, you don't really see much change.
No. We would see a lot of change, like, depending on like what they do with like the Supreme Court, and
that would be insanely huge.
Yeah, that's when you would start seeing shit kind of change. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm not worried about it.
I'm not either. Everybody's stressing out about it. Yeah. I truly do believe, no matter what, whether Trump wins or Biden wins, once the election's over, you're going to see COVID stuff. It's not necessarily the numbers are going to go down. I don't think the virus is just going to disappear, but they're going to stop. They're going to slowly stop talking about it.
I think they're going to stop talking about it, but the effect that COVID will have on our country is drastically going to be
too late.
Determined by who gets elected.
Oh, I see what you mean, yeah.
Because it's one of two things is going to happen. Trump is going to get elected, and we're either going to see that COVID is very real when he's like, nobody needs to wear a mask, I don't care, like, get rid of it, you know what I mean? Because that's kind of the approach he's having now. He doesn't want to wear a mask or anything like that. And then everyone's going to get sick, and it's going to be a real issue. Or he's going to be like, nobody wears a mask, forget about it, like, it's over, and then it's just going to go away.
Right. Well, I don't know. The biggest thing, it's so... I literally think a lot of... I think about it, and there's times I'm like, well, maybe I'll vote for Trump. Oh, maybe I'll vote for Biden. Like, just... And it's not... It has nothing to... It never has anything to do with like direct policy. It has everything to do with like social policy.
Yep.
Like what's going to happen to the society with these presidents. And it's like I can see if Trump gets in, everybody just it's another 4 years of everybody bitching and complaining and just like wreaking havoc to make him like look bad.
The worst make him
or the opposite. Biden gets in and he starts implementing all these different social like laws that infringe on rights and this, that, and the other. Like, or maybe none of that happens.
Yeah.
You know, there's always ifs, ands, or buts of everything. Maybe none of that happens if either of them get in. Who knows? All I know is, you know, nobody's ever going to be happy.
Yeah.
You can't make everybody happy. Remember when Obama was president? Everyone's like, oh man, that was such a peaceful time. No, the right bitched about it all the time.
Yeah, they
like,
literally... Yeah, but, I mean, towards the end of it, though, I do think Obama was more well-liked by his second term than Trump was.
But the thing is that people forget is the media are the ones that radiate, that are constantly radiating the emotion of what everybody's like hearing and seeing and stuff. So when everybody... Think about it. Obama was president, and everybody thought, oh, this is peacetime. Well, it was just constant, like... The media was constantly giving praise and talking about how great he was and all this stuff. So, of course, everyone felt like, oh, how peaceful, you know. And then opposite with Trump, it's obvious. Everyone's, you know, all the media is just, like, shitting on him and, oh, he's such a bad guy, he's a racist, he's a this, he's a that, you know. So, I talked about this in a couple episodes ago, about how positivity radiates positivity. 100% true. When you project positivity into the ether, you're going to receive positivity back. Quite the opposite as well. You project negativity into the ether, you're going to receive negativity back. And that's exactly what's been happening. And it shows that the media has a big, huge power in how, you know, we...
And that's kind of that's literally what being a president is it's like, you don't go in thinking, I'm going to change the country. You go in thinking, I'm about to be the biggest celebrity in America.
Pretty much. That's what it's turned into. It never used to be that way.
No, it used to be. And, like... I mean, yeah, and I don't want to make we don't need to make this whole thing about politics, but...
Well, it's hard when the election's literally around the corner.
I think the hardest part about politics isn't the media, and it's not who we have running, it's the demographic that we have voting. Because, like, there are certain people, and they're in my life, they're in everybody's life, whether you're a conservative or a liberal, however you classify yourself, talking about politics has never been more difficult than in our day and age.
Everybody's very close-minded.
Yeah. Even what are people, the woke?
The woke.
The woke. Even the woke are like, I won't see you on that. And it's like, your whole job is to see, like, my point of view and then tell me how you feel. You know what I mean? Like,
right. That's why I identify myself as an independent, because I feel like unless you are in the middle and you can see both sides, or you can reflect, you know, you can listen to both sides, you can, like, take in information on both sides and make an opinion for yourself. That's the only way, you know, because if you're on one side or the other, you're so close-minded and so stuck in your ways that you're not willing to, you know...
You're not willing to listen and make
sit
change.
down to the table with the other person.
Yeah, that's all politics is. You're supposed to sit down and be like, hey, this shit's not working.
How do we fix it?
Yeah, but instead they're like, hey, it's not working. And they're like, well, it's your fault it's not working. And
right. It's all blame game. They're just pointing fingers and...
But then nobody wants to own up to it. I could be like, it's conservatives' problems why we have this and this and this, and the conservatives would, instead of just being like, okay, yeah, maybe you're right. They're like...
Well, actually, no, it's your fault because of this and this and this. It's just a big pissing war, and everyone's pointing fingers, and nobody's willing to sit down and compromise or agree.
Well, even like political ads, like, you don't see any political ads of people of themselves that are like, hey, this is what I want to do, this is what he wants to do, vote how you want to vote. If I saw somebody who made a political ad like that, they would have my vote instantly.
And the majority of political ads aren't necessary. They're not even, like, always attacking policy. It's like...
He lived in China for 15 years.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay.
It's like, oh, yeah, so how does this affect his policies? They don't, like, directly tell you.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes it's like, he voted against this or this. But it's like, it's never, or... I think the majority of political ads are like, they might as well have been like, and he got a divorce.
Yeah. They should just be like, you ever heard of China? Yeah, he has. And then just like, yeah.
He took a course on China 14 years ago.
Yeah, he took it in his first year of high school.
He learned how to speak Chinese.
So should you. Or that's what
he's going to make you do that.
Yeah.
Because he's trying to bring China over here and turn us in.
I feel like that's another big thing. Like, people don't even, like, realistically, in my mind, I don't give a shit about China.
Well, it's like it's funny how like you can tell every election cycle what the hot topics are.
Yeah.
Because think about it, healthcare is the hot topic. Why? COVID.
Mm-hmm.
You know, China's a hot topic right now. Why? Because
COVID.
Yeah, COVID.
Yeah.
That's all the talking points are just these small things, and it's all based around what's happening now.
But it's all bullshit. And
you know what's funny? How many years do we hear? You know, I'll stand up for veterans. How many fucking years are we gonna stand up for veterans and nothing happens?
Yeah, how many years are you gonna? Yeah, like how long does it take you to fucking stand? Yeah.
Standing up for veterans every year. Well, how come they're still fucked? You know?
Yeah,
figure it out. Anyway, politics aside.
Yeah, politics aside. Now that we got that out of the way,
so I try. Okay, one thing I gotta say about you. You need to start answering your phone. Or responding to text. Because, hang on. I'm very particular about what... Now that I've made a schedule for the podcast, like I have everything planned out, you know how I am.
Yeah.
So if things don't necessarily always go according to schedule, I get a little antsy.
Yeah.
And I can... You know, I was ready. I was prepared to possibly do it without you. Because you didn't give me a straight answer until 2 days ago.
Yeah. It's very last minute.
I was prepared to have a whole show without you. Most of it was going to be me shitting on you for flaking out. So, because I did, in fact, prepare for it.
Yeah, I just prepared just a full-blown roast.
I mean, that's just it.
Yeah.
It's your birthday. And, you know,
in
a lot of
you
circuits...
made this and I didn't eat this feast.
Yeah.
For you.
In most circuits, roasting is considered a sign of respect.
Yeah,
and they typically do
form.
it for birthdays.
Yeah.
So let me take this opportunity.
He doesn't actually care that I'm on this podcast. He was going to do this with or without me here.
I was. But no, I mean, I really don't even know where to start with that. But we can start with the fact that, I mean, it's really not going to be a roast. I'm just kidding.
Here I am waiting for my dreams in life to be shit.
No,
on.
I'm not really. I do
want to have a roast one of these times.
I thought about that too. I like watching those roasts. But yeah, I don't actually have anything prepared as far as that would go right now. But I will say, because me and Asia talked about like childhood stuff, which was stuff we could actually reflect on together because we kind of grew up like around the same age.
Yep.
You, on the other hand, I want to point out and let everyone know what an absolute horror you were.
I was a complete dickhead when I was a kid.
Now, let me back that up by saying I'm sorry. For
me being a dickhead?
No.
I'm sorry to everyone that I was a dickhead.
I'm backing it up by saying I'm sorry for
being an even bigger
the brutal person I could have been at those times from time to time.
I don't remember a single
I
time
do.
When
and there are times I reflect. I'm dead serious. I do mean this. I reflect on things I did and said as you know when you were growing up, and I think to myself, damn, that was pretty fucking harsh, and I feel really bad for that. Granted, you turned out all right.
I didn't turn out to be like a school shooter or anything, so I think you did
so
better
far, so good. Yeah,
so far we're doing good.
But I'm just saying, let's put it on the table. I do in fact apologize for my rather rash behavior, mostly, and you know what? I actually don't apologize for kicking your ass as much as I did because I think I hear that a lot with brothers.
I mean that's a sibling thing.
I do, however, feel really, really bad about the names.
Oh no!
I'm serious. Like that, I think about it and I'm like, damn. Like because I seriously look at like situations with other kids and like
what they call their brother and sister.
Landon was a portly fella.
Yeah, I was fat.
Or a rather portly fella.
Yeah, I was fat. I had hair down to my shoulders, and I had a
Looked
voice
like a butch lesbian.
Yes. Yep. I was just about to say. I remember I got one of my first haircuts in a long time. It took me a lot for me to cut my hair, and the amount of backlash that I got from you and Eric. If you guys has Eric been on the podcast? For all of you who have heard Eric, him and Eric relentlessly shit on my dreams. I feel like this is like when you like were growing up, and if you're like mean to a kid in like 4th grade, this is like going back. You ever like have that where you're just really mean to kids?
Yeah, like I didn't. There was some kids I felt like I was meaner to, but I don't think I was ever really like the bully that would like consistently pick on people.
Do you remember when? Do you remember when? What was his name? Was his name Brighton?
In the back or what?
No, he used to be my friend at Golden Meadows when we lived over there.
Breton.
And he walked up to me and he's like, "Hey, guess what? Today's my birthday." And I was like, "Cool." Like, I just didn't care. That shit resonates with me.
Really? That wasn't bad. I feel like that kid...
I saw him recently.
Really?
Yeah, he works at the, you know, where Pickle Barrel is?
Yeah.
You know, the gas station at, like, the end of the street? He
Yeah.
works there.
Is he, like...
He's normal. He has a big metal he looks like a...
Did he remember you?
He didn't at first. Because I've changed a lot. He basically looks like the same in 4th grade, but he grew to be 6 feet tall. So I was like, "Hey, did you used to live in Golden Meadows?" And I'm pretty sure he's like, "Yeah, still do." And I was like, "Do you remember me?" And he's like, "Holy shit, are you Landon?" And 1, to hear him cuss, and 2, to formulate a well thought out sentence.
Well, he seemed like he had issues.
He does not. He's a...
Yeah, well, I just mean like he seemed like he might have been like a little autistic or something.
Yes, he did seem like that when he was a kid.
So I felt bad, like, because he cried a lot. I don't know, it was just because he got his feelings hurt. So I felt like, I just felt bad for the kid a lot.
Yeah.
I'm glad to know that he's like...
Yeah, that he's still alive.
Yeah, well...
and
that he's normal.
That's always, yeah.
But yeah, I remember that. No, I don't know. Yeah, I could see where you might have been a bully. Yeah. A little bit, but that's I think that probably was a reflection of how you were being treated.
Yeah, you were like, you know, I was that kid in the after school specials and you were the dad.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. And like I feel fairly bad about it. Like I think about it from time to time and I'm like I don't know, 'cause like I said, I see like you said those after school specials and I'm like, god damn that why has he got to call that kid that? You know, I'm the guy that's like, I hate bullies, but yet I was one. And I think maybe that's why I hate it, because I hate seeing myself in that. I don't know. Whatever it was, I apologize. I feel really bad about it. Shouldn't have done it.
Shouldn't have done it all. It's gonna be huge. No, I look back a lot of times on like when I was younger, and just like I used to know this kid, and it was me and a couple other of my friends at Ponderosa, and there was this one kid named Mikey. And that kid did nothing wrong. He was a good-looking kid. He had some friends. He was kind of new, but he was quiet. We relentlessly shit on this kid. Relentlessly did. And like I don't even know why I did it. I've never met that kid. I like seen him again. And those are the kind of things that like used to like keep me up at night, where I was like, God, why did it? No, I just kind of just like, nah, fuck him.
Right. Know? Well, I feel like, I mean, even with like Kyle, you know?
If there's one person you should apologize, it's probably Kyle.
I don't, like, yeah, okay, I think we shit on him and we went a little bit further than places.
But he also didn't take it well.
I do want to say Eric was way more ruthless about it than I was. And granted, the difference between that was me, you know, we were friends. So we chalked it up to that being the excuse. Granted, like I said, there were times we went a little too far. But, you know, we still were friends. And we still remained friends. We had, you know, moments where we weren't mean to each other. I don't know. I don't think
I can remember a single time you weren't mean to Kyle.
Yeah, we definitely threw him through the ringer a little bit. So, you're right. I probably should apologize to him. Yeah. I mean, he didn't.
But I mean, that's just kind of what I feel like. That's just what it is to be male and to be close with somebody.
You're not wrong.
Like me and like my group of friends, I think bust each other's balls harder.
But there's a difference between just like.
It's like I call it ball busting.
Yeah.
But like if I were to say that to a normal human being that doesn't know me,
Well, sure.
I would probably 100% get my ass kicked.
Right. Well, and I've seen how, like, you've seen how me and my friends, you and your friends, we all interact. There's a difference between, like, light jabs and even, like, burns than, like, straight up, just being so savage to somebody who's your friend. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there is quite a difference.
Yeah.
You know there's a line when you cross it.
Yeah, but sometimes it's just, I don't know. I don't take any personal offense to
Well, me neither. You gotta have thick skin.
Yeah. I like looking back and like thinking about it, like there's not like I can't like recall a memory in my head where I'm like,
Yeah.
like there was not like,
Still, though.
yeah.
There's another name that pops into my head, but I won't say it on air.
Who?
For you.
What, like who I was mean to?
No, a nickname.
Oh.
I won't say it though because it's
yeah.
It's yeah.
It's a little.
I thought about it. I was gonna, but I'll reserve it. I'll tell you what it was after. you might.
Yeah, I'll probably remember it.
Oh, you will.
That name is engraved in my brain for the rest.
Apologies.
Oh.
I couldn't hear what you said.
Oh.
What was that?
Car alarm.
Is it my car?
I don't think so.
I don't
Where'd you
think
park?
so. Right in front of your house.
Yeah, we would have heard it better. But yeah, that I just wanted to put that out there. I was gonna roast you, and now I'm just apologizing.
And now you're just looking like an actual bitch.
But rather than that, how about this? Rather than I apologize. Rather than roast you, let me say this. First off, thank God you found marijuana.
Yeah. Yep.
For several reasons. One, I think it definitely helped you lose weight in ways, maybe accounting for other things too.
I think other things probably played into that.
Sure. But mostly chilled you out
Yeah. Yep.
from the rage and the
Yeah, honestly, if any parents are listening to this, if you have a child ages 2 and up, just make them smoke weed and they will mellow out. That is a Landon approved message.
How about rather than that, don't put them on fucking Ritalin.
Yeah, or Risperdal, or yeah. No, honestly, I think probably one of the biggest turning points in my life is when I started smoking weed. Because out of like things that I did, as far as like drink alcohol or dabble in other practices of getting high, marijuana was the last like thing that I had tried. And I don't know, like to me there's nothing that makes my body feel better. And I don't mean that in like a, oh man, it feels so good, but like in like a sense of like, this is going to make me sound kind of crazy, but like voices in my head like slow down. You know, like the inner monologue, the you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this.
The stress.
When I smoke, it's just like, hey,
Everything kind of calms down.
do this and this, and then relax for 3 hours, and then you're not high anymore, and go back to being stressed. Yeah,
For sure. Well, and obviously I was not a proponent
Nope.
of that stuff for a long time.
You didn't even drink until like what?
No,
was
I'm
it?
saying I'm not talking about myself necessarily. I'm not talking like I was upset to find out that you were involved in.
Yeah, when did you find out
Habits.
I started smoking weed?
Probably later.
Because I think I smoked weed.
It was later, like when you were like 17, 18.
Really?
Kinda, or when I really like knew.
Yeah.
I probably had a feeling, but I don't know.
Dude, I remember one time. It was after you and Asia moved out, and I pretty much always used to smoke in my room.
Okay.
Like it was always pretty much, there was always like a bong or a pipe or something that had weed in it and was rolling.
Well, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Okay. I remember one time we had to go somewhere. I think it was like a holiday or something like that, and like I had alcohol everywhere in my room, and I was in the middle of like smoking, and all of a sudden I just hear and my curtain rips open and it's you and Asia, and my room is just smoky, and I am not prepared to go anywhere, and I was just like, fuck. You remember that?
No, but I do remember finding a bong and being like, "What the fuck is this?" and sending you a picture of it, and I was like, "The fuck's this?" And you're like, "That's somebody else's."
I do remember that.
But whatever. I mean, in the end, I don't really care. But back then, I did.
Isn't it so weird to think about, like...
I still don't approve of the alcohol. I think that's something... I sincerely don't think anybody should drink, like, until 18.
Yeah, but, like...
I think alcohol has a different effect on you.
I think in the way that I drink alcohol, yes. I am lucky that I don't have cirrhosis. Like,
I'm just saying, like, it's not even that. I just think in the developmental, like, it's not even the developmental year. It's the years where you're trying to find yourself. And if you throw alcohol into that, it can really fuck you up.
Oh, no, I absolutely agree. And I mean, I'm really lucky that when I was going through high school, I had friends that I did. Because we're all in high school. We're all down to get fucked up. We're all down to drink. And, like, it got to a point where, like, certain beverages, like Gatorades and water bottles and stuff like that, would have been filled with alcohol.
Right.
And consumed on a daily basis. And, like, I had friends that were like, homie, like, save the shit for the weekend. Like,
right.
Like,
See, I just think when you mix those, you know, because you're going through certain emotions, like when you're young, I think you feel things differently when you're younger. Mm-hmm. And you're going through things, trying to find yourself and stuff like that. And then when you add alcohol to that, it just mixes things all up.
Yeah, because you're so, like, emotional when you're like, particularly like 15, 16.
I think from the ages of 15 to the ages of 22, you're still trying to find yourself and trying to figure out who you are. Really.
I probably won't find myself in time, like 50.
I'm just saying, like, that's kind of in that range. So it's like when you mix things in there, even weed,
yeah,
like it can
throw your drive off a lot. And, like, since I've started, like, smoking weed as, like, a daily thing. Like, I mean, I don't think I smoke nearly as much weed as, like, someone who, like, Joe Rogan does. Maybe. I don't know. Those motherfuckers smoke a lot on that podcast.
Let's say more like Joey Diaz, who smokes a lot.
Yeah, I don't smoke as much as Joey Diaz, per se, but I do know that I do smoke a lot of weed. And my motives and what I want out of life drastically changed when I started smoking weed. And it's not like...
In your case, I would say it benefited you.
Yeah, like, I'm not, like, lazy.
I don't know that you would have ended up in a better place had you not.
I probably honestly wouldn't. If I would have started smoking weed more so, like, regularly, before I dropped out of high school, I don't think I would have dropped out of high school if I was smoking weed.
Possible.
Because if I could have just gone to school high every day and then just zone people out, I would have... Because, like, that's what got me through, like, being more social and, like, talking to people, is because, like, I can slow down and be like, what are you talking about? And then, like, actually talk to people. And then it wasn't after I left high school that I started smoking daily.
For sure. Well, okay, actually, that's a good... I'm glad you brought that up, because do you remember my reaction to you dropping out?
Yeah, I don't think I told you until, like what? I don't think I told you until, like, a year or so after I dropped out.
No, it wasn't. It was at least a month. I knew the year you did.
Yeah.
It wasn't easy to keep it from me. Everybody at work knew.
Yeah, fucking
Somebody
Mark.
Snitched on you.
Mark snitched on me.
Yeah, he was, Mark.
Yeah, and he walked... Oh, okay, I'll tell that story.
Okay.
I remember...
we were bartending.
Yep. Yeah, so Mark he was one of my ex-girlfriend's, like, mom's friends or whatnot. Mm-hmm. So in the time of me working there, we had a lot of common ground, and we talked a lot. Me and Mark got along wonderfully. Mark smoked a ton of weed. Every time I went to a party, I would tell Mark, and it was kind of just an unspoken rule, whatever, like, crazy stories I told him didn't get back to you. Just because, like, you know, he was like, he's your brother, I understand, I'm not going to tell him that you're, like, drinking and having sex and, like, doing this. And I told Brandon I dropped out, and then Brandon told Mark, and then Mark told you. And I remember later that night, I was like, who the fuck told Dakota? Like, I was pissed, because I was like, I wanted to tell you, but I couldn't find a good time to tell you. And I was like, I walked up to Gage, and I was like, was it fucking you? I walked up to Brandon, and by the end of the night, Mark came down and he like flipped the chair around and sat on it like with the back facing him, and he's like, "Are you mad at me?" I was like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "It was me." And I wanted to be so mad, but at that point I was so burnt out. Yeah.
So, like the weed.
The weed.
Now, granted, at the time, I don't necessarily not feel like I did, like I reacted the wrong way. Let's say it.
I feel like everybody reacted very tamely when I dropped out. Nobody like...
I was pretty upset. Now, I don't think I reacted in the wrong way, but maybe didn't react in the right way necessarily too. Granted, let me say this, I'm still not exactly pleased about it.
Yeah,
but,
I don't think anybody is.
But, looking back at the education system, and looking back at what the education system is now, what it's become, college especially, don't necessarily think you made the wrong decision.
Yeah, I mean, because, the way I view school is it's very, very, very much so. It's like politics. It's very social.
Get ahead there's a social aspect to it that's necessary.
Yep.
Do you know how many things I learned in school that I use to this day? Goddamn near nothing.
Yeah. The only time I use that knowledge is when I go to trivia nights.
Yeah, well, the only things the best things I learned are, like, my typing class, and obviously, like, some literature stuff. Like, learning how to read, obviously. But, like, things in high school, things you've already know, like reading and writing and, how to spell and grammar and things like that. Those are important, but
they don't need to be driven in for 19 years of your life.
I've learned how to type better and read better just from my daily life, not from being forced to.
And I'm not telling anybody listening to this, hey, drop out. Because, getting a diploma does open doors for you. Doors that... And if I didn't drop out, honest to God, my life would be 100% different. My life 100% would not be what it is today.
For the better or the worse?
I don't know. Yeah, it's tough to say.
The job... Okay, let me put it this way. The job I have currently doesn't require a degree, and I make really fucking good money. I probably make as much, if not more money, than teachers.
I thought you were going to say than doctors for a second.
Than teachers. Because teachers get paid shit anyway, though. Like, that's a problem in itself.
Yeah.
But... I make good money. Don't need a degree to do what I do. And it's, most trades pay really good money.
Yeah.
The problem with school is they don't teach you real stuff. They don't teach you stuff like how to file your taxes, how to buy a home, how to they should teach you basic mechanics, like how to jumpstart your car, how to change a tire. Those should be that should be a required class. And government should be a year long. Yeah. Not just
a semester or a quarter.
Yeah. That should be a year long required class, if not 2 years.
Well, and in my mind too, it's always funny because and when I was in high school, I was a very, very big advocate for this. But I think self-education is some of the most important education you can do.
Yes.
Because it's not necessarily it will be the most perfect way to do something, but it is a way that you will remember how to do it. It is something that you will know what to do from personal experience. I think if I were to take somebody who didn't go to the school that they were for the trade or for the whatever career they were going to, but just wanted to do it, if I were to let's say lawyers.
Okay.
If I were to put a lawyer up against somebody who went to law school and took the bar exam against somebody who hasn't, I would almost be willing to put money on the person that wants to be a lawyer and has studied for it in their free time.
Because they want it.
They want it, and it's stuff that's important to them. They're not retaining this knowledge to pass a grade. Mm-hmm. I think those people are a lot more knowledgeable about that aspect than somebody who's constantly just grinding.
Who's just doing it as
a
chore.
job. Yeah. Yeah.
I agree. I definitely... Don't get me wrong, I think education itself is very necessary. You should educate yourself. You should be educated on certain things. But the problem I have at least, is with the way the education system is currently, the way they operate. That's not right. I just think the way the current education system is failing people.
Yeah, I agree.
But like I said, I don't think education is wrong. I think you should be educated. You should educate yourself. Like you said, self-education.
Yeah.
Educate yourself every day.
Or, like, I just think that there should be, like...
And don't get me started on college.
Yeah.
College is basically
it's just
a mind-warping unit.
Yeah, you just throw... And, like, the thing is, too, like, this is no advocation for Charlie Kirk or Ben Shapiro or any of those guys. But when I see someone like Charlie Kirk going to a mainly left-wing school where everybody is studying political science, and to go up in a conversation with somebody like that and not have a single fucking clue as to what they're talking about genuinely concerns me as to why people are going to college.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think college offers benefits. I think there's things that it is supposed to offer that maybe it's strewn away from, for sure. But basically it's become this mechanism of, like, social...
It's just a flex. A college degree is nothing more than a flex.
Essentially, yeah. I mean, now, if you're going to be, like,
a doctor
or a, chemist or a bioengineer,
yeah,
sure.
I would much rather have you have a degree than not have a degree.
But...
To cut hair?
It just seems like yeah, I know, right? It seems like the majority of students are only there to basically get an education in social economics.
Yeah, something that just doesn't fucking, like...
And by that, I mean, like, they're being socially... In the social aspect of things, they're being... I don't want to say brainwashed, but being manipulated. They're being, like, fed certain things and becoming, like, a social machine.
Yeah, I could absolutely see that, especially with what we were talking about with, like, the media contributing and stuff like that. Like, yeah,
college is a big contributor to
absolutely
to social.
It's the perfect place for it. It's the perfect place for it. If I were to be a politician, where I would be, like, concerning my votes right now would be on college campuses. It would be with those people that are in, especially after COVID, after it got rid of a lot of people, like a certain demographic that a certain party would go with more that, like, now's never been a better time to attack attack colleges with political, not just attack colleges, but with political agendas. But what?
Go ahead.
But at the same time, it goes back to what we were talking about earlier with, like, the woke society is you can attack them with whatever kind of propaganda, facts, opinions, it doesn't matter. If it doesn't fit their agenda, it doesn't fit anywhere.
So it's a majority emotion-based.
Yeah.
Not thought and fact-based.
Yeah.
I think it also, going back, contributes to, like I said before, people wanting to find themselves. People, like I said, it strikes a lot of younger people. That demographic of 18 to 22, 23, 24. These are the people who are still trying to find themselves, and they want somewhere to fit in. And if you don't comply with what, is the group mentality in a college setting, then
you're outed.
Yeah, and you don't want that. You want to fit in. So everybody kind of just becomes this mechanism in that unit.
And it's so funny too, because in college, realistically speaking, nobody gives a fuck about who you are. Like,
right.
It's not like high school. You don't hang out in, like, cliques in the hallway. You don't fit in, like, it's literally like you go to school with a bunch of adults and nobody cares about your existence. But the second their opinion differs from yours, fuck this person. And, like, the second my opinion were to differ from you, I would be like, fuck you.
And I think that's a big problem in today's world is which would be people think that they are ideas rather than being individuals. They think that their personality traits, the person that they are, is just their ideals and their political stances or their social stances. They think that's who they are. They're not, like, individuals.
It's not like,
they're defined by their ideals.
Yeah. Which it just doesn't, like, it just doesn't make sense to me, like, as a whole.
I don't think that's a big problem in general.
Yeah.
People just being defined by their ideals. And you could say, typically, because of college, it's liberal, but that happens to conservative people too. There's plenty of, far...
Thank you.
There's plenty of far right-wingers that, are closed-minded as well, and,
Yeah.
are just, like, almost contractually obligated to their ideals and have no flex.
Yeah, and I just don't understand that. I don't understand living a life where...
You can't question things?
Yeah. Like, when I was younger, as most young people are, I was very religious. Not religious in a sense that I pray. Well, yeah, we did go to, like, church, and we did pray and everything, and I remember I used to pray before I go to sleep. It was very informal. It wasn't like that. It was... You ever do that? Where you, like, lay up and you're just like, hey, God, it's me, it's your boy. So, like, I used to do that a lot, and... I mean, I'm not saying that this was the most positive form of questioning everything, but, like, I just couldn't imagine being, like, religious and never questioning anything about religion.
Right.
Does that, like, I don't, and, like, usually, like, the people that are so dead set on their political views are the exact same way about their religious or just life views. They're just, I almost feel as if having such stern political and having such stern religious views is almost like a crutch for the weak. They just don't have, like, a strong enough understanding of themselves and, like, reality around them, and it scares them.
Well, and people don't like to be told that things aren't what they want it to be.
Yeah.
People don't like to be confronted with facts. People don't like to be confronted with
facts that go
that
against...
contradict them. Yeah. Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
People don't like to be, disagreed with.
Yeah.
It's just... Yeah, I think... no, you're right.
Yeah. Just a really feeble understanding of just where they are and where everyone else is.
I think you should question everything. Mm-hmm. I think everything that can be questioned should be questioned.
Yeah.
Like, why not? And why not? Why shouldn't everything be, up for conversation?
Mm-hmm. I absolutely agree. Like, and I think one of the biggest examples of things not being up for conversation is a lot of race movements and, like, BLM and stuff like that. I understand not wanting to not negotiate or, like, talk about these things, but at the same time I don't understand it at all. Like, people feel like they don't need to prove their movement, and I understand that because they've been wanting to do this for a long time and have been trying to do it for a long time, but you can't have a movement without justification. Not saying the justification isn't there, but they don't want to talk about, like, does that make sense?
Right. I know what you mean.
Like, and I'm not saying, like, people that are, like, actually, like, in the movement. I'm talking about third-party people that heavily, heavily, heavily support this movement and have nothing to do with it. Does that make sense? Like, they post about it, and they're like, this and this, and then you're like, but why do you think that way? And they're like, what do you mean, why do I think that way? And you're like, well, why does this follow under, like, what you believe? And they're like,
I know.
Are you a racist? And you're like, no.
Is there virtue signaling?
Yes.
You're talking about people who aren't necessarily, they don't align with that cause, whether it's BLM or whether it's whatever.
They
don't align with that cause based on who they are
or what they do.
Yeah. But they still, stand by it even though they have
wholeheartedly with blind faith.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but would you agree with the statement being the majority, or okay, let me put it this way. Nobody virtue signals harder than young white women.
Yep. And
why? I don't know.
Here's my idea as to why. And this isn't me, like, shitting on anyone or
and by that I don't mean all young white women.
No, absolutely not. I agree. I do think, but here's why I think, and this is going to be a hot button but here's my thing. I think when you look at feminism and you look at, like, around World War II and that time, women were very much so heavily oppressed. You come home, you cook, you clean, and my martini is on the table at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
And if it's not, yeah, exactly. But when World War II came around, they still were like, you can't fight with us. You don't. And instead of being like, well, let's make signs and protest,
women were forced to work.
They fucking melted their jewelry down, and they made fucking ammunition out of it.
Mm-hmm.
That is the most savage shit I've ever heard in my life. Now, you have these young women that want so desperately, almost so desperately to be oppressed again, so they can have that like
something
movement
to fight,
and they can have that momentum. But instead, they kind of look around and they're like, relatively things are pretty kosher. I can yell rape and everyone will believe me. I can bitch about not getting paid enough and I'll probably get a promotion. But instead, I'm gonna find other issues in this country that have nothing to fucking do with me and make it my issue, make it my problem to solve, because they don't.
Well, you know, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you.
No, yeah.
I kind of saw that in the same way. That's again hot button with gays.
Yeah,
gays gained, like, they won their battle, right?
And then they just wanted to keep.
They earned the right to
get married everywhere.
Yes. Like, it's legal across the land. They won their battle. But now it's like, oh, but now we gotta fight for the trans. Now we gotta fight, like, we still want to fight.
Yeah.
The fight is not over. And I agree. Like, I don't necessarily know if I mean, you might not be wrong about, you know, with the white women thing, the virtue signaling aspect of it. You could, I mean, you might be onto something there. Like, that's gonna be very controversial.
Yeah, yeah. Let's hope there's not a comment section in this.
Here's the thing. Let me just make this the blanket statement on that thought. It's just a thought.
Yeah, I'm not saying
nothing that we're saying here is based around fact. It's just based around, you know, maybe. Like, think, you know, just what we were talking about. Think about it. Like, things should be questions. Things should be...
Absolutely.
If anybody hears that and is, like, instantly, like, raged and is like, how could you possibly say that?
Are absolutely missing the point of this whole podcast here.
It's called closed-minded.
Yeah.
Because you have to be open to thought. And is it offensive? No.
It's literally...
What's offensive about it?
It's literally just somebody looking in at... Because, realistically speaking, they could say the same thing about straight white men. They could say, like, well, they don't care because they have it good, so why would they fight for any... You know what I mean? Like, there's observations to be made around.
We could sit here and say that, too.
Yeah.
Like, why do white men not, like, fight the cause? Well, maybe it's because they've had it good for so long.
Yeah,
sure.
They don't see...
That's not... I mean, that doesn't necessarily, like, shine a bright light on us.
Yeah.
But it's a fact that we're questioning.
Yeah. It's why do... And, like, I don't think people... And here's kind of one of my thinkings thoughts as to why what I say in my mind is more true than not. We'll get back to the conversation, but we'll go into the gays conversation right now because it leads into it. Gay people got the right to get married anywhere. That's an awesome thing. You know, people should have the right.
I agree.
But once they got that right, they were like, well, we want to get married here. And the church was like, sorry, that's against our religion. Right. And instead of just being like, we understand, like, we get it. They were like, no, shut the church down. Shut this. Like, this isn't acceptable. And that's my thing is in history, there's been so many times when we've corrected our mistakes and then overcorrected it. And it didn't do anything but shift the balance. And it's really interesting to see when you look at, like, movements like BLM or what was the, like, LGBTQ, like that movement, is, yes, there has been oppression and there has been really fucked up things to happen that white people have done, black people have done, you know, like every race has done.
Nobody's clean.
Nobody's clean. And the thing is if one race or one group of people, like, own up to it and they're like, hey, we're sorry, how do we fix this? And then oftentimes the response I hear isn't, oh, well, yeah, you could do this and this and this. It's like, fuck you, you don't understand. You don't get it. You can't see our shoes. You can't undo the thousands of years of this. And it's like, I understand that. But, like, I haven't been around for 1,000 years, and I'm trying to fix now. Like, nobody wants to fix now. Everybody just wants to get upset about the past. And that's why, I think.
It's like, I wasn't a part of that. I wasn't a part of enslaving people. I wasn't, like, that's not me.
Yeah.
And you cannot blame me for things that happened that I had no control of.
Or, like, you can't, like, another thing is like, I hate when people are I shouldn't say hate, but I don't like the argument per se when people are like, you don't understand what it's like to be in my shoes because you've never been oppressed in your life. And it's weird to think because, like, a lot of people don't know, like, our background and, like, where we come from and stuff like that. But, like, our lives weren't kosher.
I think a lot of people need to just, like, I agree.
Like, you need to understand that, like, it's, in my mind, it's not necessarily a race thing. And this could be because of my race that I view it like this.
Sure.
I think when people are looked down upon, it's heavily a money thing. Money is what drove slavery. Money is what drove, like, pretty much any political movement ever. And as to why we did the fucked up things we did, money is just how we view people from a social standpoint.
Right. I get where, black people come from as far as, you don't understand. Like, they're right. Like, I don't understand what it's like, to have the cops watch you. And they're keeping an eye on you.
But we do, though. Like,
but I get it, what they're saying. Like, they do get profiled.
Yes.
Just for being black.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I understand that completely. So I'm not saying anything against that at all. But, I mean, like you said, then there's the overcorrection. It's like, okay, well, let's take it a step further. Mm-hmm. Let's go further and further. Whatever. There's nothing's good enough.
And then nothing's good enough. And, like, the thing is, like, if we keep overcorrecting, there's going to be a huge shift in who's on top and who's on bottom kind of thing. Not saying I want to be, like, I'm not saying I want to be on top or anything like that. I'm just saying I don't want us to regress or digress in, like...
Do you mean, like I think I know what you're saying. I'm trying to think of how to, like...
Yeah, it's like...
You think, okay, are you thinking, so if a minority race, let's not say any particular, a minority race becomes the majority race, they're going to oppress the ones below.
Yeah. And I don't care if it was me, if it was another race or something like that. We're fighting to stop oppression and stuff like that, but it's quickly becoming not that. It's quickly becoming that people aren't fighting against oppression. They're fighting to be the ones doing the oppressing.
I can see that.
Like, when was it Chaz or Chop? Mm-hmm. When they were around, they were, like, the pinnacle of, like, everybody gave them a chance. And I do think that's why, like, the government didn't shut them down as quickly as they could have, because they wanted to, one, show people, if this is what you want, you can have it. And two, they also wanted to be like, okay, let's see if
this, like, is this an experiment.
And it didn't. It absolutely blew up in their face, which is to be expected. But, like, when I see people like that so badly want this power change in, like, government and political party and race, they don't want it because they think it's better. They just want it because they think it puts them on top. Not saying that's what any movement is. I'm just saying that's what it seems like I'm seeing more and more.
I personally don't care if, we became the minority, but I'm with you in the thought and I don't, if the balance changed and, like, and a minority group became the majority, fine.
Yeah, I mean,
But I'm with you in saying, just because a minority group becomes the majority group, doesn't mean, like, if we're gonna abolish, what's it called?
Oppression.
Yeah, if we're gonna abolish oppression, so the new majority group cannot oppress the new minority group, which is not that's a very high possibility that could happen. Yeah. It's like, oh, well, you fucking stepped on us all those years. Now it's our turn.
If anything, it's going to be worse. And I'm not saying that I had this conversation with a buddy of mine a while ago, and he says that's really interesting to me. Do you think you're scared because it's something that you think like your race and your people have coming, or do you think you're scared because it's unjustifiable?
Well, if we're gonna fight for a cause, if they're gonna fight for a cause, then don't be a hypocrite about it.
Yeah,
And you have all these white people backing you on your cause.
Mm-hmm.
I'm right there with you. Like,
Yeah.
I think oppression should be abolished, of course. People should not be oppressed. What?
I agree. I don't think we should oppress certain races and certain minorities of people, but people do need to accept the fact that no matter what your color, no matter what your race, no matter who you are, life will face a lot of different challenges.
Yes. But I didn't mean that by
but
we should erase challenges and hardship and difficulty.
And I'm not saying let's keep oppression around. I'm just saying that people are aiming for such a politically I guess like a soft princess, everything goes how it should go and fit in those places.
Well, and everybody should be given a certain, everyone should make a certain amount of money. Communism.
Yeah, everybody wants just an ideal, perfect life where they make enough money, they follow suit, they do this, and life is good. And it's just that literally goes against almost everything that America was founded on. You come here, if you're willing to work for who you are, then you'll make it. Mm-hmm. If you don't want to work for who you are, leave. That's what America was founded on. If you aren't here to work and you're not here to put your hands to some fucking wood and build a house, you will be homeless.
Mm. Yeah, no.
And now it's
you're manifest destiny.
Yeah,
you can manifest your own destiny.
Yeah. I just want to be Jordan Belford.
Who's that?
The guy from that Wolf of Wall Street's based on.
Oh,
he flips penny stocks and
that's funny.
Man, this has been a really politically heavy podcast.
Whatever, man. I mean, it's good conversations. I mean,
yeah.
I think the overarching, idea there is to at least be open and subject to thoughts and facts, and just open yourself up and be more open-minded.
I wouldn't even say open yourself up more to facts, because realistically, like we said, people don't like facts if they're against them, right?
Right.
I think first people need to open their mind to more opinions.
Sure. No, that's yeah.
Because abortion is a huge thing that people just do not click with. And I understand. I understand why. It's very much so you're either taking a life or you're not. That's how people view it. There's no well, there's a gray area. Nobody thinks there's a gray area. It's either there's nothing in there or it's a full tank, And not saying you need to see eye to eye with somebody on abortion, but that would be a good place to start. Be instead of just being you're wrong, it's a life, be okay, why do you not think it's a life? And then instead of just being well, 6 weeks in this week, and just be well, it's not a life to me because you don't have motor functions, you don't have this, or it is a life to me because you have a soul. Then it becomes a religious thing, and then you open a lot more doors to talk about with that person.
Well, then there's the people who rely on science that just completely, shut down anybody who has the faith aspect. And
I'm very guilty of that.
Well, sure, but it's even then you still need to be open-minded. Yeah. You still have to be okay, that's why they think that. And that's why abortion is such a it's basically something that's never going to be solved, because people are either going to feel one way about it or the other. And it's but the problem is people don't understand why the other people feel the way they do.
Yeah.
And it's okay, you believe this because it's a religious thing. You believe this because you think it's a science thing. But nobody understands the other.
Yeah.
Nobody takes the time to understand. It's either, well, they're stupid, they're wrong, they're ignorant because of this and this and this. They don't understand. There's nothing I hate more than somebody who looks at somebody who has a thought or an opinion or any idea and says, they just don't understand.
Yeah. Dude, when I was...
Sorry, I just gotta say this because it's so, I'm just kind of boiling at the seam thinking about that. If you think you have the answers, if anybody just thinks they have all the answers, or that they're smarter than somebody, or that they're, because they think their ideas are the fucking...
The greatest,
they're the gospel?
Yeah.
Check yourself, because you're fucking wrong.
That's when, so when I did leave high school, I hung out with a lot of people that were quite older than I did, because I felt as if a lot of those people were the only people that I could have stimulating conversations with, much like we're having right now.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I became more of an adult and people knew that I dropped out of high school that was thrown in my face. Does that make sense? So when I freshly dropped out of high school and was hanging out with people that had been out of high school for a while and were in college, we would have conversations and people would look at me and be like, you don't have a complete grasp of this, but you understand what I'm saying, kind of thing. They weren't dicks about it.
Okay.
And then when I got to the point where I should be graduating, and I mean, I don't consider myself an idiot. I consider myself a decently intelligent human being. I don't consider myself the smartest, but I can hold my own. I would agree. It wasn't until I got out of high school, would have been out of high school, fresh or senior year, that people started using me not finishing high school against me in arguments. So, we have, a friend or an ex-friend that me and you are very, very familiar with. He thinks he knows everything.
You'll have to tell me.
Yeah,
but air. I'm curious now.
There was so many times where we would be having really, really, in-depth arguments where it's obviously at this point it goes beyond what high school would teach us and more what you would learn from reading books by Neil deGrasse Tyson and shit like that starts going into a little bit more advanced stuff.
Okay.
And it got to a point where my point was getting proven. I was doing a good job holding myself. And the whole argument was ended by, well, if you would have taken physics junior year, you would know what I'm talking about. So you just obviously don't know anything. And I hate that. When people end conversations with, well, I did this. This is why you don't know this.
That's why it drives me crazy when people who go to college think they're just the fucking smartest thing that ever hit the earth.
Yep.
It's no, just because you went to college doesn't mean you know shit.
Mm-hmm.
There's people who drop out of high school that fucking are smarter than you.
Yeah.
Because they leave their minds open and they are open to interpretation. They're open to different ideas and they educate themselves.
Yeah.
People educate themselves and
I do think, like I said, as much
your degree doesn't mean anything. And
as much as I do advocate for self-education, the more wildfire that the internet becomes, it does become harder to self-educate. Does that make sense?
No, because I think the internet makes it easier to self-educate. You have the world's library in your pocket.
You do have the world's library, but think of it this way. If I have 1,000 books in front of me and 6,000, or wait, how many did I say? 1,000 books?
Yeah.
Sorry. I have 1,000 books in front of me, and 700 of these books are fake encyclopedias, and there's 300 real ones. Where the fuck
there's a lot of fake information.
Yes, and I do think people need to be selective about it, but usually the people that are going out of their way to educate themselves know kind of what to look for. But in school, you don't get that opportunity. You don't get that opportunity to read all 1,000 books of bullshit. You get the opportunity to read
what you're told to read.
Yes, you get 150 of the 300 good books that are there.
Another thing too, though, that's why you need to be open to you need to be open to, other sources, because if you see something from one angle and you see something from the other angle and they don't exactly line up, you can kind of figure out, okay, well, these are the things.
You're how do I bridge this into the middle ground?
You can kind of come up with a conclusion for yourself.
Somebody needs to make almost like a political cartoon of, it would be somebody and it'd be Republicans, Democrats, Green Party, Independents. These are the four parties that make
Like
the Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh
but
yeah, that'd be good.
That'd be really funny.
Surprised that might even exist.
It might.
Oh jeez. Yeah, we really did take a political turn.
We really did.
It's alright though. Good conversation.
Speaking of to bridge politicalness in with something else, I've been watching a ton of Korra, Legends of Korra, like the sequel to Avatar, and you've gone through and you've rewatched Avatar: The Last Airbender, right?
Several times.
Have you? Like, I don't think the writers of that show get enough credit for what they did with Avatar and what they did with Korra too, because like, when everything was going down with like ICE and stuff like that, with like internment camps and stuff like that, when you start going back and you start looking at like Ba Sing Se and like how like people would like come in from other countries and like they're like, well, you're in the poverty district and you have to work and like get treated like shit and stuff like just how relevant all of that still is, and even more become like that is such a fucking good show.
It is. But, you got to think, even back then when they wrote that show, there was things like that happening.
I know, like, there was things like that, but, like, it's cool that they did that.
No,
like,
I
it's
agree.
cool that they, like...
It's a very smart show.
Mm-hmm.
It's very well thought out and very deep.
So is Korra. That's another reason.
I haven't seen that one yet, so...
You gotta watch Korra.
I'll watch it.
Not as deep as the original, but
I'll
pretty deep.
I'll watch it. I've been told it's good, so I will check it out.
You gotta go into it with an open mind.
Yeah. I've been needing to have a new show to watch anyway, so that'd be a good one.
I have too. I keep trying to find shows. I keep trying to find spooky shows to watch.
I've been watching a lot of horror movies.
I've been trying to, but they just...
I've just been doing it just to try and get the kick.
New horror movies sometimes just kind of suck, though.
Yeah. They're cheesy, but...
Like, you think with how far technology's come, we'd be able to have some of the best scary movies ever.
Right. See, movies don't scare me. Real life scares me. The real stuff. Like watching, like, a Dateline or, like, criminal, like 48-Hour Mystery or something like that, or Forensic Files. That's the shit that gets me.
Dude, you know what show you should watch then?
What?
This is a plug for you, Netflix. You hear me out there? It's a show called Mindhunter.
Okay.
And... so it takes place way back when like the term serial killer wasn't even like invented, and it talks about this. It's a real story. You can watch like the actual interviews that they did, but it's about two FBI agents and they go through and they just interview killers. So in the first killer that they interview is Ed Kemper, and if you like watch a side by side comparison of like what they're doing, it's real life, and like. It really puts a new perspective on that shit for you. It's super good. Like, he talks about... because do you know who, like... Ed Kemper, like, murdered his last victim was, like, his mom. And he,
I don't know.
Oh, okay. He did a lot of fucked up things to that woman. And as you go through and as you watch it, you're like... I kind of feel bad for Ed Kemper. So I felt during when Zac Efron and the Ted Bundy, or was he Ted Bundy?
Ted Bundy, yeah.
In that movie, like, literally, I was like, okay, did Ted Bundy really do this, or was he framed?
They did a good job of portraying that story.
Those movies get
He definitely fucking did it.
Oh, maybe.
Oh, he definitely fucking did it.
I don't know.
He's a psychopath. He ran.
I would too if I was wrongly convicted.
Come on, man.
Okay, look. They got him by saying...
He confessed. He confessed to, like, over 100 murders. Or no. I think he confessed to, like, 50 murders, but they assume it could be up in the hundreds.
Ted Bundy didn't kill nobody. You heard it here first.
That guy's a fucking psycho.
He is.
And he's in the grave now, so...
Yeah. So is Wilford Brimley.
God.
Sorry, that's really random, but I was telling my friends about how he used to come into the Olive Garden here all the time, and how you've met him.
I've never met him.
Oh, I thought you did.
No. I've met Frank Borman, which is pretty fucking awesome.
That's even cooler than meeting... Well...
yeah, it's a lot cooler than meeting fucking Wilford Brimley.
Are you kidding me? For everybody who doesn't know who Wilford Brimley is, he's the diabetes. Yeah, that's who Wilford Brimley is. Frank, on the other hand, has been on the moon.
Around. He was the first man to orbit the moon.
Yes.
He was the captain of the first trip to orbit the moon and come back.
Yeah.
And you're going to try and compare him to
Wilford
Brimley.
Yes. Wilford Brimley
has done nothing remotely.
He has made many a moves for people with diabetes.
Don't care. Didn't go to the moon.
But speaking of the moon, because we're back on politics. Okay?
Oh, now we're okay.
Have you ever heard the reason as to why NASA says they haven't gone back to the moon? From what I've read, and maybe I'm misunderstanding, I did drop out of high school. They said the reason they haven't gone back to the moon is because they lost the technology to do it.
Okay, so
have you heard about that?
Yeah, and I've heard two explanations as to why.
Okay. I'm interested because I haven't heard any explanations.
Now, don't quote me on this because I don't know for a fact.
You don't work for NASA. I'm not asking for but what is your opinion?
Now, if that's the explanation you heard was that they lost the technology, fuck, I actually don't remember now. It was either like, I honestly don't remember. I can't. I'm not gonna misquote myself.
And that's fair.
But I have heard explanations as to why. I mean, they're trying to get us to fucking Mars now, dude.
Yeah, but that's not NASA. That's Elon Musk.
My boy.
Yeah.
I like that boy.
Elon's cool. I do like him. He kind of creeps me out, and I can almost guarantee you within the next 5-10 years we're going to find out something real crazy about him.
Really?
Yeah.
Like he was made in a lab?
Like something. Like, I was convinced for a really long time that this is...
Like he's an android or something?
Well, kind of. Yeah, I was thinking more like he was kind of just a conglomeration. And I'm not crazy. I'm not a skeptic. I'm not somebody who's like a doomsday prepper. This was a very long rabbit hole of a conversation that I got in with one of my buddies when we were like 3 joints in. But it really did get me thinking that, like, where did Elon Musk start? He made PayPal, didn't he? Like, that was his thing.
One thing, yeah.
And then, like, how the fuck do you go from making something like PayPal to making a car that drives itself? How do you get that, like, where...
He definitely made steps.
Steps, but, like, where are the creators of Venmo? What are they doing?
Well, he's just an innovator. He's a guy that, like, that's what he does. He creates.
And then, but, like, I don't know.
But he doesn't just create just to create. He creates to try and better the good of humanity. That's why he wanted to make the electric car, because he wanted to help rid. He wants to try and wean out the fossil fuel.
I think I love Elon Musk. Okay, this isn't me wanting this to happen. I just get a bad feeling from that guy. I get a bad feeling like he's gonna do something either super crazy, or he's already doing something even crazier.
I mean, Neuralink's pretty fucking nuts.
Yeah, but I support that 100%. I think the second we start making cybernetic enhancements is the next step in evolution for us.
See, okay, here's the thing. I feel like Joe Rogan doesn't understand what Neuralink necessarily is, because I listen to the podcast with Joe, and it seems like Joe really thinks Neuralink is, like, gonna be this connection between you and like the internet, where, like, you just know everything, or like it's like this.
It would be like more like
that's
you
not
and like
Alexa. From what Elon described, what I got out of it was that it was more for, like, fixing, spinal injuries, and, like, you can fix sight.
And you can also listen to music through what he's doing.
But I don't know. Like, maybe I'm misinterpreting it. That's just what I got out of it.
No, that sounds pretty. Like, they wanted to do a lot of crazy things.
I'm sure it will just become more and more in advanced as it goes on.
Yeah.
I don't think human bonding with, like, technology in the sense mostly of the mind is a good thing.
I think it's a wonderful thing.
I think it's not.
Could you imagine?
I disagree with you on that.
Could you imagine if you put something, like, in your lungs, or that made it so it replaced your lungs, that you could just like have oxygen supplied to your brain.
Okay, but how far do you go before you lose your humanity completely?
That's a question I'm willing to find out.
I'm not. I mean,
because that would go to prove a lot about what makes a person. We don't know until we start digging at it. We don't know until it's like the boat conversation, you know? Nobody's ever, like, you know, that paradox where if you eat a piece of wood off that boat and replace it with a new piece of wood every day out of the year, by the end of the year, do you have the same boat? You ever heard that?
What does eating it have to do with anything?
Wait, what? Did I say eating it?
You said eat.
Oh, you just take the piece of wood and you throw it away and then you put a new piece of wood on there. Same color, just different piece of wood. By the end of it, the boat is completely rebuilt with different wood, but it looks the exact same. Is it the same boat or is it a different boat? What makes that boat that boat?
I would say it's a different boat.
I would say it's the same boat.
I don't, because you're talking about wood. Like, you're not replacing your brain with a new brain. You're replacing it with a computer. So if you now let me change your thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you take a piece of wood away from the ship and you put a piece of metal,
then then
you keep doing that. Now you have a metal boat.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a different boat?
It is a different.
It's a different boat.
Yeah.
Now if you start adding technology, metal, fucking wiring,
is it still a boat
to you? Are you still a human? Fuck no.
We don't know.
You're an android.
Because, like, if you take that piece of wood off and add it with a piece of metal, it might not be the same boat, but as long as it floats, it's a boat.
Okay.
So as long as I can feel emotion, I'm a human, right? If I have critical thinking.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. How far does it go and before it's, you know, let's just take that away too?
I personally probably wouldn't mind that.
Okay, well, you are a special kind of person because
if somebody
who's willing to give up their emotion, their humanity, their feeling?
I would probably.
I think that's where a lot of people would like to see things go.
Yeah,
but I think they're fucking crazy and wrong for that.
You're wrong. No, I would. I don't know. I guess I have a very I'm very science mind. Like. Whatever.
Well, I am too, but I still think humans should be humans.
It hasn't done us a lot of good.
Okay, here's another thing. What's the world made up of? Like, what is the world run off of?
A lot.
Biology. It's like bio. It's a sphere.
Yeah. So, like water, I would say, is a big thing that runs the planet. In fact, that moves.
We're a biosphere.
Yeah.
What's the point of it all if we're not bio ourselves?
But that's the whole point. I think, in my mind, that's the whole point as to why. Have you ever heard that there's different levels of existence? There's different creatures. So, and I might be kind of getting this swayed. There's a lot of really good videos on YouTube for it. But there's level 1 creatures that are like microorganisms would be, or like fish at the bottom of the sea. They have no control over their surroundings, and they don't do anything to change themselves. They basically just live to eat, survive, and reproduce. And then there's like level 2 creatures, which would be like us, that can like mine and get fossil fuels and alter our terrain and stuff like that. Then there's like level 3, which can like alter like planets, which is what we're becoming, and like use planets for other resources. And then there's like level 4s that can use energy from their star to power everything. That's where we need to go. We need to start focusing on evolving. That's the whole point of humans, is we're meant to evolve and change.
But at the cost of
humanity, maybe. Like a cost of. I'm not saying like if I believed that I had a soul, I'm not saying that I would sell my soul to I guess like evolve or grow, but I'm not saying that I wouldn't either. And if that were to be an option, if my soul were on the line between either evolving and bettering an entire thousands and thousands of generations, fuck yeah. I would soul's gone.
That's a little bit bizarre to me.
You're like, I want you to leave my house.
I just don't. I disagree with it, but
and that's fair.
That's fine. I mean, we can disagree.
Like, where do you think the human race can grow from here? without cybernetic enhancements?
I think it's pretty limitless. I just think, my point being, like, I'm okay with embracing technology and embracing, the cyber world, but not combining with it. Not becoming one with it. I know there's a lot of people who want that. There's a lot of people who think that's a good idea of where we should go. I disagree. I think we need to remain separate entities, but embrace it and become, let it help evolve us.
But we've been adapting and growing with technology so much that it's so inevitable for us not to become intertwined with technology.
I think that's a slippery slope.
It is a very slippery slope, but I think it's a very necessary one.
Why?
Because it's either going to, one, really, really aid us in, like, could you imagine how far we could send astronauts into space if they never had to eat or drink anything? If we could make that a possibility for them?
But what would be the point?
It would be like a Hubble telescope, but instead we could make contact with anything that we saw. It wouldn't just be a picture. If we came across, like, a planet that was inhabitable, maybe it didn't have sustainable food for a while, but that wouldn't...
What would be your motive?
Exploration.
But...
That's the whole motive as why we want to go to...
Okay, so how are they not eating, or...
Oh, I don't know. It's not my job to figure out...
By that point, you're basically saying that they're not human.
Yeah.
So why would a fucking android want to explore? Why would something...
Because they're not androids.
Why
they're
would something
still
that has
people.
no feeling, emotion, or sense of wonder or discovery want to do any of that? There's no purpose to it if they've lost all their humanity.
But, and I mean, I don't necessarily think that humans will ever lose that edge, no matter how much technology you put in them.
I don't know about that. There's always the next level.
Yeah. But, I mean, we have to take a step in one way. But us mingling with tech...
If we have to take a step one way or the other, I'm taking a step back.
Look, all I'm saying is, like, there's people in Sweden that have chips in them, that have all of their, like, ID, social security number.
Do not like that either.
I love that.
I hate it.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love the idea
of
that. I love Neuralink. I don't necessarily love China's, like, system as far as, like, how they have, like, have you heard that, where they have, like, cameras?
Yeah.
And, like, they
it's
monitor.
Nuts.
Why is that nuts?
It's a dictatorship.
Kind of, but the whole thing behind, like, us wanting to defund police, or, well, not us, but, like people, just in general. I don't want to label us anywhere that we don't belong or do belong. They want to say, well, let's defund the police. And then you're like, okay, well, look at this. Look at what China's doing over here. They're recording people's every movement. They are making it so if you do something super fucked up, like, your credit score will be affected. It's harder for you to buy a house.
Again,
people don't want that either.
Slippery slope.
But, like,
it becomes very invasive, and I get the concept of it, but then when you start surrendering your your freedoms, it's it's only a matter of time before they start just chipping away more and more,
See, and I guess I don't get that either, because, like,
when does it not become enough,
And that's what we were talking about earlier with, like, the overcorrection thing. But, like, I don't know.
You start surrendering liberties, then it's just what more?
Surrendering liberties is kind of a funny topic to me. Like, it's always when people are like, they're taking away my rights. And it's like, okay, I understand, yes, they are your rights, but, like, how integral to your everyday life is that to you? There are some, like,
more than you think.
Yeah, and I agree. Like, there are some that obviously don't affect me, but, like, realistically speaking, as long as I have the ability to go outside, go to a job, earn money, and play video games, they can do whatever the fuck they want. Like, I'm very much...
I think you don't... I think you think that because you've had it your whole life. I think if you lost your, basic rights as an American, you would very quickly see how big they were to you.
Yeah, but like,
for example, you don't realize how much you use your thumb on your
until it's
not there.
Yeah.
Then you realize, oh shit, I use that a lot. When you lose something, let's just say you lose your right of free speech. Guess what? You lose a lot of shit.
Yeah, but nobody's gonna like. Yeah, freedom of speech and freedom of press is huge.
Freedom of press. As much as I hate the media, they should have every right to do that.
But do you think? Now here's my question: they should have every right to give you true and factual information,
and that's the way it's supposed to be.
And it should be. Now, here's my issue with when people say that, "Oh, I'm having my rights taken away." It's never fucking. They're trying to silence the media because they absolutely should be silencing more than a few medias. It's never that they're trying to.
I don't agree with silencing the media. I believe in correcting the
media.
Yeah,
like it's never. But I'm saying like if they were to be taking away rights, like if they were to do something, it's never like they're trying to shut up a media. They're not trying to get people to stop talking. When people are like, well, they're taking away my rights, is when we just want you to wear a fucking mask. Like, people throw around words like...
Okay, but here's why people say that, okay?
Oh, yeah, I forget that. No, I'm just kidding.
No, let me just say this. It's because it's, it's a slippery slope. Once you start... Like, of course they're not going to just come out and be like, we're going to take those guns away. They're going to make steps to getting to that point. They're going to pass this legislation. They're going to pass this legislation. They're going to start with this. They're going to say, oh, we're just going to take away, the automatic. Oh, we're just going to take away this. Oh, we're just going to take away this. Before long, you don't have anything left.
Yeah.
And that's just the gun analogy. But that's why people get up in arms about the mask thing. Because they're telling you have to do something when... I thought this was the land of the free. We could do whatever we want. But when the government starts telling you have to do this, that's when people start having issues. But I'm not saying I have an issue with it or people shouldn't just be open to the concept, but the government shouldn't have to tell you. They should say, look, for the betterment of our brothers and sisters and our society and our
yeah, but neighbors, ain't nobody gonna give a fuck about that.
They don't already.
Yeah. If
people who are gonna wear them are gonna wear them. People who aren't. So you have to come to people and say, look, we just want you to do this to help your neighbor. That's what we want. We're not telling you have to. Because that's just it. Like with a kid, if you say you can't have that, what's the kid gonna do? I want that.
Yeah.
If you say to somebody you have to do this, they're gonna say, fuck no, I ain't doing that. You can't tell me what to do. So if you come to somebody and say, look, we just want you to do this for a short amount of time. It'll help everybody. We want you to, just look out for your neighbor, okay? Mm-hmm. People are going to respond way better than if they say, look, you have to wear that mask because I say so.
Yeah, but, people have to remember that, we have an enforcer of rules and we have a government for a reason. They can't hold our hand all the time. And in most cases, I would really prefer it if they didn't hold our hand the entire time.
I agree.
I think that we, as Americans, are very, very, very spoiled. We are the most spoiled country in the world.
So you think we should have more, parenting, essentially?
I think when...
More disciplined government?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so.
I think when you look at people that scream and cry and plead that they are oppressed in America... To have people like religions that study the Quran or something like that. It is or like places where they just don't have food or clean water within a mile of where they live. It's almost like there are bigger issues and bigger governments out there that are doing such a shittier job. To say that we're oppressed is almost a laughable thing to me. And if people want to actually say I don't know. I think our government is too lenient with us.
Too lenient?
Mm-hmm. Look at what I said earlier with Chaz and Chop and stuff like that.
What more do you want?
Tell people to
Okay,
put a
but
fucking
you want
mask
to talk
on.
about oppression? The countries that have the most oppression are the ones that have strict
Right,
governments.
and I like I'm not saying I want them to enforce like religion and like certain forms of like thinking upon us, but if god damn it, if there's a pandemic going on, make those fucking people wear a mask.
Disagree.
And that's fine.
I disagree.
And that's fine. But
I mean, that does work for some countries.
like look at Sweden.
But this isn't those countries.
Look at Sweden. Sweden is a
Yeah, you know what Sweden did?
wonderful country.
You know what Sweden did?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yes, they did.
No, they didn't.
They went on like a
had-
fucking
No.
month-long quarantine. The whole country did.
Well, a lot of those Scandinavian countries and a lot I'm pretty fucking sure it was Sweden didn't do anything. They just went about their normal days, and guess what? Their numbers didn't do it. Like people died, people caught it, people died, but it didn't.
Yeah. I don't know. A lot of other countries kind of took this thing very, very seriously, but seriously enough to get rid of it within like.
It's not. No.
It's not gone.
Europe
but
is having a second wave of it now.
I'm just sick of it. I'm sick of it.
I'm sick of
all.
it too.
Fuck it. I don't know when people became so afraid to die.
Also, yeah. I
That's a
agree.
different topic. That's a topic of morality, but like, it's like it comes down to it that like. There is going to be a war one day, probably in our lifetime. I would almost be willing to bet there is going to be a war within our lifetime.
Oh, for sure.
Like a big one.
We kind of need that to happen. We need some real struggle.
But that's what I mean. That's what I'm implying. When I'm saying that I want the government to be more like...
That's why everything seems so chaotic, is because there's not real
There's not-
struggle.
yeah, there's no
So
real-
they're making this false struggle.
But when a time does come of real struggle like that, people won't be able to handle it. When a real pandemic comes around...
Yeah, but that's people. You're talking about the society as a whole.
Yeah. I'm
Okay.
talking about like America as a whole.
Yeah,
we want
so
to
people are going to have to get strong again.
They won't. We're
Okay,
going...
then the weak die and the strong survive.
And that's where it's got. Like in my mind, America is so far from what we used to stand for.
I mean, that's just how it is. You eat or get eaten.
Yeah.
That's kind of how life's always been. And so if shit hits the fan and things get crazy, then the weak better step up and get strong pretty quick, or it's eat or get eaten.
Yeah. I don't know. It's weird to think about. It's weird to think about like once you really start looking into like where our country is and where like the people's heads are. It's like it's not a very bright looking future for America.
No, but you got to be optimistic, because it does nothing to be. It does nothing to.
I think pessimism is a more productive way of thinking than optimism.
Okay, but it's not a. Again, this goes back to positivity radiates positivity. I think if you're optimistic and positive and think, the best of things, then that radiates that, and therefore, the more people who project that, then the positive things
But I
can
also
come to fruition.
I think it needs both. I think you need to be pessimistic about what you're looking at and what you're trying to fix, but optimistic about the way you're trying to fix it. I am a very heavy pessimist, obviously.
I think you can balance it.
Yeah.
But I think optimism is very important.
Yeah, you're not going to get anything done with that. If somebody were just to be a pure
Because
pessimistic person, they would be like, fuck it, I'm not going to do it. What I do isn't going to affect people. It's like people that don't want to vote. People that are like, I'm not voting because my vote won't make a difference.
Yeah, that's not very optimistic.
It's all pessimism. But if they were pessimistic but optimistic, they'd be like, yeah, I'm going to vote. Probably won't make a difference, but gotta try. That's like, in my mind, where the pessimism and optimism have to balance each other out. And I think outside looking in, you need to be pessimistic.
Okay, but I do think optimism drives
A want, drives people to better, but I don't think there isn't a want without realizing what the problem is, and that's where that like negative thinking really comes into play. Is you need to be able to see these problems and to see how drastic these issues are before you make a change on them.
I still think whatever it is, you need to remain positive and That way it'll radiate throughout the ether. Negativity reflects negativity. Alright. As deep as that was, and as deep as we've been going, it's been a great conversation, for sure.
Yeah, I did not think that this podcast would go in this direction.
I didn't either. But that's what these are for.
Yeah.
And we've gone a little long. That's great. That's fine. That's why I didn't stop it, because I knew we were having good conversations. I thoroughly enjoyed it. This might be one of the best podcasts I've done.
I liked it a lot. I would like to come back on.
No, absolutely. I would love to, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I plan on having guests back, of course.
Hear that? I'm the best you ever had, bitch.
Hey, there's only places to go up, so.
Yeah.
This is episode 20, by the way.
Benchmark
spot.
20 on the 20.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 20 on the 20.
I didn't even think about that. I was just thinking it's a good, we made it another...
Yeah, another milestone for sure.
So, we're on the way up. I also want to at some point, get you and Asia on the podcast together. I think that could be fun.
Dumb bitch could ever sit in one spot for long enough.
No! So leaving all the time.
Yeah. Missed my birthday, by the way.
I know.
Fucking bitch.
Jesus.
Love you.
Now, before we close it, I was gonna say this probably an hour ago, and we got rolling on other stuff.
How long have we been doing this for?
We're going about almost 2 hours.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
This is gonna be the longest podcast I've done too. So, I was gonna say this a long time ago. I'm gonna say it now. God damn it! How do I even go into this? So, beyond all your rage childhood and craziness and all the shit we went through, all the madness, all the fights, all the yelling, the ups and the downs, this, that, and the other, what I will say to you is you became one of the funniest members of the family.
we are some pretty funny motherfuckers.
I think, and I say this almost from a point of envy. You're very charismatic. You're very quick-witted. And I wish I had more of that. And I'm a little bit jealous of it.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that obviously had to come from somewhere, right?
Sure,
you gotta think that I grew
up.
But
I just wanted to point that out and make that comment and compliment to you.
Thank you.
That you are quite funny. You're quite a character. And I think that you yourself should have your own podcast, because I think you would actually be very good at it.
I think it's something I've entertained. I just don't have the drive for it. Maybe. You know what? We'll see. If I do have a podcast, I'll have you on it.
I think you should stay open to it. We obviously had a very good back and forth here. I think you could do that a lot. And I think you could have good solo podcasts as well. That's something, you have to have that energy. You have to have that, charisma.
Yeah, you have to.
I think you definitely have that. So.
Yeah. I mean, I like what you're doing here. I like the setup. It's definitely more official than some of the other podcasts that I've been on. I think this is probably my 4th appearance on a podcast. I mean, at this rate, I should probably just have my own, right? This is a very good setup. I like what you're doing with it. I would love to come back on. It makes me want to do one of my own. Maybe I will. We'll see.
Cool. And also, before we end, tell the shit yourself story.
Oh, man. Okay.
Let's end on a high note.
Yeah, let's end on a high note. Okay, so I don't want to paraphrase this story, so I'll tell you in the full effect. Are you talking freshman year?
Sure, I've never heard this story.
Oh, okay. Okay, so as we were talking about earlier in the podcast, I was very fat. I was fat up until about halfway through freshman year, but I was very fat, very hefty boy. And first day of freshman year, I had long emo hair. I was very scared that I was going to be picked on, right? Because as you do as a fat kid in high school going in. But all was good. I had a girlfriend, and, I was dressed up, ready to go. I had new shoes on, new jeans, new Jack Skellington shirt that I still have. I was looking at myself, and, they were cargo jeans. That's important to the story. They were very, brown, light brown jeans.
Okay.
And I was standing outside. Well, not standing outside. I was standing in the living room. I was looking out the window, and I was looking at my phone, and I was like, man, we're running kind of late. I haven't gotten a text that they're on their way, anything like that. You know what? I'm going to savor this moment. I look good. I have a girlfriend that's on her way to pick me up. It's first day of freshman year. What could go wrong? I look out that window. I give a good exhale. And I'm like, I'm going to fart. I'm really going to bask in the moment. I creamed my pants so fucking hard. I've never shit more in my life. Right as soon as I do that, I'm like freaking out and panicking. Right as soon as shit hits trousers, my girlfriend at the time texts me and she's like, hey, we're here. We're running late. My mom's not happy. We just have to go. Like, if you don't have anything, we got to go. And I can't take off my high top shoes and my pants and my underwear. Like, I can't do that. It's first day of freshman year. So I get in that car. And the whole way, I doused myself in cologne, and I got in the car, and the first thing that her mom says to me is, oh my God. And I was like, oh, here we go. She's going to know I shit myself. And she's like, how much cologne did you spray on yourself? And I was like, fuck. Okay, we're good. So we get to school. As soon as we get there, she drops us off and back. I'm like, okay, perfect. Hey, come here. And I'm talking to my girlfriend. And I'm like, look at my pants. Do you see anything on them? Is there anything? Because this was a creamy shit. There was no solidarity in this shit whatsoever. And she's like, yeah, you have a spot like right here. And so I was panicking. My brain was fucking exploding at this point. We go in, literally.
In the car. I'd be like, no, sorry, can't go.
I was apparently the only day I've ever been dedicated going to school in my entire life. And keep in mind, for all of you that have gone to school in a relatively big school, first day of freshman year, you are shoulder to fucking shoulder with freshmen and going up and down crowded stairs. And you do not get a break to use the bathroom. At least I didn't until fourth period.
Are you fucking kidding me? You walked around with shit in your pants for...
like loaded fucking diaper shit.
What is the matter with you?
And after school was over, I asked my girlfriend, I was like, hey, I shit myself today. Did you even like realize that? And she's like, no. And I was like, what was on my pants this morning then? And she's like, oh, you had like something on your belt. Apparently, nobody knew I shit my pants that day. I asked everybody. I had one of my friends walking up the stairs behind me, and like I said, shoulder to shoulder, their nose had to have been maybe a thumb length distance away from my ass. And now you know why I dropped out of high school. Just kidding.
What are you?
Oh, dude, it was the worst day of my year.
How could you... I don't understand.
I don't either.
You went more than an hour?
Yeah, I threw my
with shit in your pants.
Yeah.
You went 8 hours.
It basically was... I didn't go 8 hours.
You went a full school day.
No, fourth period, so half a school day.
Still.
4 hours with shit pants. That's class. That's sitting down.
Oh, you're disgusting. You're insane.
Shout out to Levi jeans though for not leaking that shit out the back. This is also another reason I wear boxer briefs.
Good call.
I wear boxer briefs because as much as that was
for the next time when you shit your pants.
Yes, and I have shit my pants a lot. I have a ton of shitting my pants.
I can say that I have safely not done that.
Well,
ever.
Next time I'm on this podcast, I'll tell you about the time I shit my pants 7 times.
I'll tell you about the time that I almost shit my pants. That'll be a good one. So we'll save those for next time.
Yeah, next time.
All right, guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being on. Happy birthday to you.
Thanks for having me.
And don't forget, life's a garden.
Dig it.